Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. Today I'm doing another turntable review. This time I'm checking out, we got the, this is the 1Q all-in-one turntable from QlearSoul. There's a bunch of links down below. You got links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlist that I put together every week, and the Patreon page. So make sure you check all that out. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. So QlearSoul is a relatively new company. They just launched their website. The products are just now available on Amazon. I'll put links down below for their Amazon store and for their website. This turntable does come in walnut and in black. Runs, I think the list price on it is about $200, but you can use promo code 20NIC1Q and get 20% off. So my big question always with these all-in-one turntables is how do they sound? So I'm going to do a couple of things. I'll get this all unboxed, set up, get this thing all dialed in. I'll do a speed test on it. I'll play a couple of albums and let you know what I think of it. And like everything else I review on the channel, the opinions I state on here are mine and mine alone. I'm always going to give you my 100% honest opinion. All right, so on the outside of the box, you got QlearSoul. Then you got their tagline, Clear Sound, QlearSoul. Apparently this does come with a 24-month warranty. On the end of the box, you got their model number. So this is actually an HP 8014 1Q all-in-one turntable. This does have Bluetooth also. And then, so you get, this is built-in 4 hi-fi speakers. This does have an Audio-Technica 3600L cartridge, which is basically your, like a good entry-level cartridge you want for a turntable. If you ever look at a turntable, regardless of what kind of turntable it is, all-in-one, suitcase, whatever, and it has one of those red cartridges on there, you want to stay away from that. The AT3600L, that's like your baseline. It does have Bluetooth and does have built-in phono preamp. And since it's an all-in-one turntable, there shouldn't be a whole lot of assembly to it, but I'll go ahead and unpack all this stuff. I'll also add that whenever you get a turntable and it has these big styrofoam blocks in there, always make sure you go through all the packaging in there, because a lot of turntable companies will like to package like the counterweight in there, or a 45 RPM adapter, or the booklet, or there's always seems to be some kind of accessories inside these blocks. So just make sure you always go through all the packaging. And also on the quick start guide, there's a QR code. So if you're somebody that needs to, if you're more of a visual person, and you need to watch the tutorial video, you can scan that and it'll take you right to the video. And just like I thought, they had the power adapter inside the end of one of those styrofoam blocks. So like I said earlier, there's not a whole lot of setup with these turntables. The one thing I did notice right away is the QlearSoul logo. If you're Canadian and you grew up watching the Canadian Broadcasting Company, it's really similar to their logo. I grew up watching hockey on CBC, so that's the first thing I noticed with their logo. But it's a nice logo, nice little platter mat. And then this is your platter here. So this has a ribbon to help you put the belt onto the spindle here. Something like that really helps for somebody like me who has big fat fingers. So it'd be kind of hard for me to fish my hand in there to get it on the spindle there. And then once I've got it on there, I always like to give it a bunch of spins just to make sure, it's seated on there properly. And I'll go ahead and put the platter mat on there. And this does come with a really nice dust cover with the QlearSoul logo on the top of it. And then something I'm starting to see on more and more of these entry-level turntables is that it has an adjustable counterweight. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that. I'll get the counterweight put on there and see if I can get this thing really dialed in to a nice neutral position. So for anyone that's going to buy a new turntable, I always recommend going on Amazon and buying one of these little tone arm scales. If you go on the Vinyl Den Amazon store under accessories, I've got these listed on there. They're only like 10 or 12 bucks. And this really helps to dial in the tone arm, because I feel like the counterweight's never accurate. Well, is at least as accurate as I want it to be. And it's pretty easy to use. You just put it on the platter here, line your tone arm up with the middle of the scale. Always make sure you take the cap off the end of the cartridge, and then you just set it down and see what we get. So it's a little heavy. I'm actually at 3.53, so I'll make this a little lighter. All right, so I got 3.49. That's close enough to 3.5 for me. All right, so let's check out this turntable here. So you got the nice speaker on the front, QlearSoul logo. This is your volume here. This is your off knob. So you got off 33, 45, and then you flip this all the way over for Bluetooth. There's an auxiliary inline if you want to plug, whatever, I don't know what people have to really plug in anymore. Everything runs off of Bluetooth. But if you want to plug something into it, you can there. And then there's your start and stop button. On the back of the turntable, you've got your DC input. This does have a built-in phono preamp, so you can always use the preamp or not if you've got a receiver to put it through. And then you can also plug external speakers into this. So that's always something nice if you want to add on to it later and have a little bit nicer of a setup. Something that might sound just a tad bit better than what you're going to get in the stock speaker in this. But so it's always an option there. The one thing I did notice right away is this does not have any kind of pitch adjustment on there. So we'll see once I put my RPM monitor on, or speed tester on here, we'll see how close to 33 1/3 it is. But unfortunately, there's no way, if it is a little bit off, to tweak that speed limit to get it dialed right in. And I'm just going to use my little RPM app here. I know this isn't the most accurate way to test the speed on here, but I feel like it does a pretty good job. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this on here. And I don't have any way to do it, but if I had a cup or something, I could put a cup over the middle to have this thing spin directly in the center of it there. But I'm going to get it pretty close to center there, and we'll see what kind of speed we get on this turntable. Go ahead and stop that. So I got 33.01. So it does spin. It is spinning a little slow. And like I said, unfortunately, there's no really good way to adjust the speed on this turntable. All right. So I actually found, I decided to use one of the styrofoam blocks that came with the turntable. Just put it over the spindle there and gave it a spin. And actually came up with a lot better of a speed that time. So I got 33.26 on that spin. So it's a lot closer to what I would expect with a turntable. It's still just a tad slow, but it's not slow enough that you're really going to notice that when you're listening to music. But I would recommend in the future, if they do upgrade this model of turntable, that they put in some kind of pitch control to where you could adjust that just a little bit and get a nice perfect 33 1/3. All right, so here comes the true test. I'm going to put a couple albums on here and see how this thing sounds. I'm going to try with the first one I'm going to spin is the Aerosmith's Greatest Hits here. And like I said earlier, unfortunately, because of copyright laws, I can't actually play the music on the channel here, but I'll let you know what I think of the sound quality. All right, so I listened to a couple songs, and the sound, there's not as much bass. I know there's not going to be a lot of bass in an all-in-one unit like this, but there was even less than I was really expecting. I have heard better bass out of other all-in-one turntables, but I'll try a different album to see if I get a better song quality out of a different one. One of my go-to records to check these turntables out, I always like to spin The Chronic by Dr. Dre. I know there's a lot of bass in this one, so I'll see how this one sounds. All right, that sounded a little bit better. I still think it's a little light on the bass side, but if you got a smaller room, I think this is going to be a decent entry-level turntable for you. All right, so when I got done listening to the Dr. Dre album, I decided to look and check one more thing. And I should have done this earlier in the process. I should have done this when I was setting up the turntable. But turntables always come with these cartridge alignment protractors. Just slides right over the spindle here. And what I noticed was the cartridge was just off the very slightest little bit. So once I properly adjusted it, went back and listened to this Aerosmith album, it sounds a whole lot better. So that just kind of goes to show that, sometimes when people are setting up their turntables, they're not properly set up. And whenever I listen or I see somebody complain about the sound quality of an album on their turntable, That's one thing I always think about is, is it properly set up? Because even someone like me that knows what they're doing sometimes misses a step and it impacts the sound quality. All right, for the heck of it, I decided to do one last speed test on it. And as you can see on that one, it actually spun at a perfect 33 1/3. So I really only had 2 cons for this turntable. The first one, not having a pitch control. That's one that, I think more and more turntables over the last couple of years, it's starting to become kind of a standard thing on a lot of them. And it's something that I have noticed on a lot of newer turntables I've had to use to really kind of dial in the speed. They always seem to be off a little bit. But so I'd like to see that on a next version of this turntable. And the speaker itself, it sounded good, but it was just a little light on the bass. And I think a space like my office or a smaller room or a bedroom, I think this could be a good option for her, because I think when you got a smaller space like that, you're really not going to notice the lack of bass. So if you're looking for something to fill a bigger room with, you might want to look at a different area, but you're going to have to spend more money. Like I said, this is $200. If you're going to go with something bigger, you're easily going to spend, at least $100 to $150 more because you've got to buy a turntable, you got to buy the speakers. So if you're somebody that's looking to upgrade from like a suitcase player, or like a Victrola, I think this could be a good option to upgrade to. And it does have a built-in preamp. If you want to upgrade the speakers to like an external speakers at some point and get a little bit of better sound out of it, it's always an option also. But for a company that's just starting out, I think this is a good first step. Like I said, there are a couple of things I'd like to see in the next version of this turntable. It might make it a little bit better, but I think this is a good turntable for somebody just getting into the hobby. And like I said earlier, I'll put links down below for their website, for their Amazon store, for the 20% off coupon also, make it a little bit more affordable. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop me a comment down below. I'd love to know what you guys think of this turntable. Have you guys used all-in-one turntables? What do you think of them? What are your experiences with them? Some pros and cons of ones that you've used in the past. Let me know what you guys think. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.